Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Western Flavors. Today we have something special, a warm, gentle episode about the beautiful disasters that happen when a 5-year-old tries to do something elaborate and kind for someone she loves. There's no trauma here, no heavy lessons about mortality or fear, just the sweetness of a child's heart and the comedy of good intentions meeting reality. Lyndy Fleming Borden has noticed that her mama seems tired, and in the way that children do when they love someone, she decides to fix it by planning the most special day ever. With help from her family, she orchestrates an elaborate surprise involving breakfast in bed, spa treatments, a special dinner, and a show. It's going to be perfect. Except, of course, nothing goes according to plan when you're 5 years old and enthusiasm vastly exceeds skill. This episode is about learning that love is shown through effort, not perfection, and that the best gifts come from the heart even when they're absolute disasters in execution. If you're enjoying this series, please hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a chapter. Today's episode is about imperfect love, about how time together matters more than elaborate plans, and about finding joy in the beautiful mess of trying. Let's dive in. It started with Lyndy overhearing a conversation she wasn't supposed to hear. She'd been playing in the hallway outside her parents' bedroom, lining up her toy horses in elaborate formations, when Amy and Ty's voices drifted through the partially open door.
I'm just so tired, Ty. I know I should be grateful. The business is doing well. We have more clients than ever. But I can't remember the last time I had a day off. Just one day where I wasn't working or planning work or thinking about work.
When's the last time you did something just for you? Something fun?
I don't know. Before Lindy? Maybe longer?
That's not sustainable, Amy. You're going to burn out.
I know. I just don't know how to step away when people need me. When horses need me.
Lyndy had stopped playing, her small face serious as she processed what she'd heard. Her mama was tired. Her mama needed a special day, and Lyndy was going to give her one. The planning started immediately. Lyndy cornered Jack in the barn, tugging on his sleeve with the urgency children bring to important missions. Gigi, I need help. It's a secret. Jack knelt down to her level, his weathered face showing amused curiosity.
What kind of secret?
Mama's tired. I heard her tell Daddy. So I'm gonna make her a special day. The most special day ever. But I need help because I'm little and can't do everything myself. Jack's eyes crinkled with a smile. He remembered when Amy had been around Lyndy's age and tried to surprise Marion with breakfast in bed.
What did you have in mind?
Over the next hour, Lyndy laid out her elaborate plan, breakfast in bed. Then a spa day she'd seen Lou get spa treatments, and it looked relaxing. Then a special dinner that Lyndy would cook herself. And finally, a show where Lyndy would perform songs and dances.
That sounds wonderful. Let's get Lou and Georgie to help, okay? We'll make this work.
By evening, the conspiracy included Lou, Georgie, Katie, and Jack, all sworn to secrecy, all assigned specific roles in making Lyndy's vision a reality. Amy and Ty had no idea what was being planned for Saturday morning. Saturday arrived with Lyndy waking up at dawn, vibrating with excitement and nervousness. Lou arrived early to help, and they began phase 1, breakfast in bed. The plan was simple: pancakes, fruit, orange juice, and toast. Lou would supervise, Lyndy would make it with Lou doing the actually dangerous parts, and it would be perfect. Except Lyndy insisted on doing more than Lou felt comfortable supervising. She wanted to flip the pancakes herself. She wanted to cut the fruit herself. She wanted to carry the tray herself.
Lyndy, sweetie, let's do this together. The tray is heavy.
But I want to do it. It's my special day for Mama. Lou reluctantly agreed to let Lyndy carry the tray from the kitchen to the loft stairs, a short distance, mostly flat. What could go wrong? What went wrong was that Lyndy, focused intensely on not spilling anything, didn't see Jack's barn cat dart across her path. She swerved to avoid stepping on him, the tray tilted, and breakfast went everywhere. Pancakes on the floor, orange juice soaking into the rug, fruit rolling in every direction. Lyndy stood frozen, looking at the disaster, her eyes filling with tears. No, 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 no. I ruined it. Lou rushed to reassure her.
It's okay, we'll make more. This happens to everyone.
But Lyndy was already crying, the perfectionism of a 5-year-old who'd had such a clear vision colliding with the reality of execution. Still, with Lou's encouragement and quick work, they managed to make a second breakfast simpler this time, and with Lou carrying the tray. Amy woke to find Lyndy standing beside the bed holding a slightly crooked tray with pancakes, a little burnt, toast a little too toasted, and juice in a plastic cup this time, no glass. Surprise! It's your special day. Amy sat up, her heart melting at the sight of her daughter's earnest face.
Lyndy, did you make this?
With Auntie Lou's help, I wanted you to have breakfast in bed because you're tired. Amy pulled Lyndy onto the bed, hugging her tight.
This is so sweet. Thank you, baby.
The pancakes were a little rubbery and the toast was definitely burnt, but Amy ate every bite while Lyndy watched with anxious hope, needing her mother's approval. Ty appeared in the doorway, clearly in on the plan, smiling at the scene.
Phase 1 complete. What's Phase 2?
Spa treatments. Phase 2 was where things really started to go sideways. Lyndy had researched spa treatments with Georgie's help, which meant they'd watched YouTube videos and decided they could replicate professional spa services with household ingredients. The plan was a facial mask, cucumber slices for the eyes, and a hand massage with lotion. Simple, relaxing, perfect. Except the facial mask recipe Lyndy had found online was meant for adults with normal skin, not someone with Amy's sensitive complexion. And in her enthusiasm, Lyndy had added extra ingredients that seemed spa-like: honey, fine, yogurt, questionable, lemon juice, problematic, and a generous amount of cinnamon, very problematic. Amy, wanting to encourage her daughter's efforts and having no idea what was about to happen, let Lyndy apply the thick, lumpy mixture to her face. It smelled weird, but Amy didn't want to hurt Lyndy's feelings. Now you have to keep it on for 20 minutes. Don't move. 10 minutes in, Amy's face started burning. Not a gentle tingle, actual burning. She tried to endure it, not wanting to disappoint Lyndy, but after 12 minutes, she had to admit something was wrong.
Lyndy, sweetie, I need to wash this off. My face is burning.
But you're supposed to keep it on for 20 minutes. That's what the video said.
I know, but I think maybe we need to adjust the recipe next time.
In the bathroom, Amy washed off the mask to discover her face was bright red, irritated, and already developing small bumps from the unfortunate combination of lemon juice and cinnamon on sensitive skin. She looked like she'd been stung by bees. Lou appeared in the doorway, took one look at Amy's face, and winced.
Oh no, I should have supervised that more closely.
It's fine. My face will recover. But maybe we skip the rest of the spa treatments.
When Amy emerged from the bathroom, Lyndy took one look at her mother's blotchy red face and burst into tears. I'm sorry, I hurt you. I made your face all red and burny.
No, baby. You didn't know. It's not your fault. My skin is just sensitive.
But Lyndy was inconsolable, convinced she'd poisoned her mother, certain that the special day was ruined beyond repair. By lunchtime, Amy's face had calmed down somewhat with the application of aloe vera and antihistamine cream, though she still looked like she'd had an unfortunate encounter with poison ivy. Lyndy had recovered enough to insist on continuing with the plan, the special dinner she was going to cook herself. Jack tried to gently suggest that maybe they should order takeout, but Lyndy was determined. She'd pick the menu herself: spaghetti with meatballs, salad, and garlic bread. Classic, delicious. How hard could it be? Very hard, as it turned out, when you're 5 years old and have never actually cooked anything more complex than toast. Georgie supervised the kitchen while Lyndy worked. The spaghetti was supposed to cook for 10 minutes, but Lyndy got distracted playing with the salad ingredients and forgot about it for 20 minutes. By the time she remembered, the pasta had turned to mush, clumping together in a starchy mass. The meatballs were pre-made from the store, which should have been foolproof. But Lyndy decided they needed more flavor and dumped in what she thought was a little bit of salt, but was actually about a quarter cup. The result was meatballs so salty they were inedible. The salad was the most successful element, mostly because it's hard to mess up lettuce and cherry tomatoes, but Lyndy's homemade dressing was a creative combination of every condiment in the fridge: ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, soy sauce, and maple syrup that looked and tasted like something that should be thrown away, not eaten. The garlic bread caught fire. Not badly, just enough that the smoke alarm went off and Jack had to rush in with a fire extinguisher. The bread was charred black on one side and raw on the other, an impressive feat of terrible timing. By the time dinner was ready to serve, Lyndy was close to tears again. The kitchen looked like a disaster zone. Every dish in the house was dirty. The floor was covered in spilled ingredients. And the food was genuinely inedible. Amy, Ty, Jack, Lou, and Georgie sat at the table looking at the meal Lyndy had worked so hard on, and nobody knew what to say. Amy took a bite of the oversalted meatball and tried not to make a face.
It's very flavorful.
But even that gentle comment was too much. Lyndy looked around the table, saw that nobody was really eating, and the dam broke. She started sobbing deep, wrenching sobs of a child whose beautiful plan had turned into total disaster. She ran from the table before anyone could stop her, her small form disappearing toward the barn. Amy found her 20 minutes later in the loft, curled up in the hay, still crying. Amy's face was still red and blotchy. Her stomach was growling from not eating the inedible dinner, and she was pretty sure she'd just lived through one of the most chaotic days of her life. She sat down beside Lyndy and pulled her daughter into her lap.
Lyndy, why did you run here without eating?
I wanted to give you a special day, because you're tired and you work so hard and you never have fun. And I messed up everything. Everything. I'm bad at surprises.
Oh, baby, you're not bad at surprises. You're 5 years old. Do you know what made today special?
Lyndy shook her head, tears still streaming.
That you thought of me. That you noticed I was tired and you wanted to do something kind. That you planned this whole elaborate day because you love me. That's what made it special, not whether the breakfast was perfect, or the spa worked, or the dinner was edible. The love behind it, that's the gift.
But everything went wrong.
Some things went wrong, but you know what? Grandma Marion kept a box of all the things I made for her when I was little. Want to know what was in it?
Lyndy nodded, curious despite her tears.
A card I made her for Mother's Day when I was 5. I tried to write I love you, but I spelled it I love-o and drew a picture of a horse that looked like a potato with legs. A bracelet I made from yarn that fell apart the first time she wore it. A breakfast I tried to make that ended up all over the floor just like yours today. A clay sculpture that was supposed to be a heart but looked like a lumpy rock.
She paused, making sure Lyndy was listening.
Every single thing in that box was imperfect. Some of them were disasters. But she kept them all because they weren't about being perfect. They were about love. About me trying, about me thinking of her, about me wanting to show her she mattered.
Really?
Really, the best gifts don't come from being good at stuff. They come from the heart, and your heart today. It was so full of love for me that you spent hours planning and cooking and organizing. That matters more than whether the meatballs were salty.
Lyndy wiped her eyes, a small smile starting to emerge. They were really salty, like so salty.
They really were. Honestly, I think you might have used a whole container of salt.
They both started laughing, the kind of laughter that comes after crying, releasing tension and transforming disaster into a story they'd tell for years. They sat in the loft together, and Amy noticed that despite the chaos of the day, she actually felt more relaxed than she had in weeks. Not because of spa treatments or perfect meals, but because her daughter had reminded her what mattered: not work, not being busy, but love and connection and the people who made life worth living.
You know what I'd really love right now? A do-over. A simple, special day with just you and me. No elaborate plans. Just us hanging out. What do you think?
Lyndy's face brightened. Really?
Yes, come on now. Let's make this day more special.
They started in the kitchen, making simple sandwiches together, peanut butter and jelly, nothing fancy, nothing that could go wrong. They cut the crusts off the way Lyndy liked, put them on a plate, grabbed some apple slices and juice boxes, and carried everything up to the loft. They spread out an old blanket and had a picnic on the floor, surrounded by hay bales and afternoon sunlight streaming through the windows. It was simple and perfect.
You know what we should do? Look at old photos. Want to see pictures of me when I was your age?
Lyndy nodded enthusiastically, and Amy retrieved the photo albums she kept in the loft's storage albums full of Marion, of young Amy, of Heartland decades ago. They spent the next hour looking through pictures, Amy telling stories about each one. Here was Marion teaching Amy to ride. Here was Amy's first horse show, where she'd fallen off and cried. There was a birthday party where the cake had collapsed. Here was a Christmas where Amy had tried to make ornaments and ended up with glitter in her hair for weeks. You messed up a lot of stuff.
I did. Still do, actually. Being good at things takes practice. And even then, sometimes stuff just goes wrong. That's life.
Lyndy picked up a photo of Marion, young and beautiful, sitting on a fence at Heartland with little Amy beside her. I wish I could have met her. Grandma Marion.
Me too. She would have loved you so much. You remind me of her sometimes. The way you love so big, the way you want to take care of people.
They kept looking at photos, and Lyndy asked Amy to tell her stories about each one. Not just the facts, but the feelings, what it was like growing up at Heartland, what Marion was like as a mother, what it felt like to learn to ride, to fall in love with horses, to discover her gift for training. After the photos, Lyndy asked Amy to brush her hair, something she always found comforting. Amy sat behind her daughter on the blanket, gently working through Lyndy's curls with a soft brush, both of them quiet and peaceful. Mama, can I read you a book?
I'd love that.
Lyndy retrieved one of her favorite books from the loft's small bookshelf and read it to Amy, stumbling over some of the harder words, making up parts she couldn't quite sound out, but doing her best. Amy listened with her eyes closed, feeling more relaxed than any spa treatment could have made her. After the book, they just talked about everything and nothing. About Lyndy's friends at school, about horses she wanted to ride someday, about whether clouds were really solid if you could get up there to touch them. The rambling, wonderful conversations that happen when you're 5 and everything is interesting. As the sun started to set, they moved to the porch, Amy wrapped in a blanket with Lyndy curled against her side, both of them watching the sky turn pink and gold and purple.
There you are. We wondered where you went.
Having the best special day.
Jack appeared with 3 mugs of hot chocolate, passing them out before settling into his rocking chair.
How's the special day going now?
Perfect. That night, as Amy tucked Lyndy into bed, her daughter asked the question that showed how much she'd learned. Mama, was today special even though everything went wrong? Amy sat on the edge of the bed, brushing hair off Lyndy's forehead.
Today was perfect. Not because everything went right, it didn't. But because we were together. Because you showed me you love me by trying so hard to make me happy. Because we laughed about the disasters and turned them into good memories. That's what makes days special, not fancy things, but the people we love and the time we spend with them.
Lyndy yawned, her eyes heavy with sleep. Next time I want to give you a special day, can we skip the cooking and the spa stuff and just do the part where we hang out and talk and look at pictures and eat sandwiches? That was the best part.
Deal. That sounds perfect.
As Lyndy drifted off to sleep, Amy sat there for a while thinking about the day, about how exhausted she'd been that morning, how badly she'd needed a break, about how Lyndy's elaborate, disastrous plan had somehow given her exactly what she needed, not relaxation from spa treatments, but perspective, a reminder of what mattered. A day where she wasn't a trainer or a business owner or someone people depended on, just a mom spending time with her daughter. She went downstairs to find Ty cleaning up the kitchen disaster, and she started helping.
So, special day successful?
Actually, yes. Not the way Lyndy planned, but it ended up being exactly what I needed. She reminded me that I don't have to do elaborate things to make life special. Sometimes the best days are the simple ones, sandwiches and photo albums and conversations on the porch.
She tried really hard. The breakfast, the spa stuff, the dinner, she put so much effort into all of it.
I know. And that effort, that love behind it, that was the real gift. Not the execution, but the heart.
Jack appeared in the doorway, having overheard.
Marion used to say that when you'd make her something that fell apart or got ruined or didn't work, she'd say, "The love is in the trying, not in the result." Lyndy tried with her whole heart today. That's what you'll remember years from now. Not the salty meatballs, but the love that made her want to cook them.
The next morning, Amy woke up feeling genuinely refreshed for the first time in months. Not because she'd had a day off from work, she'd actually spent most of yesterday dealing with breakfast disasters and kitchen fires and inedible food. But because she'd been reminded of what filled her up, what mattered, what made life worth the exhaustion. She found Lyndy in the kitchen with Lou, and they were making a card. "Mama, we're making a thank you card. For you, because you were so nice about everything being a disaster yesterday." The card was typical 5-year-old work crayon drawings of horses, stickers placed randomly, glitter everywhere, words spelled creatively. It said, "Thank you for my special day, Mama. I love you," in Lyndy's careful printing. Amy picked it up, tears immediately filling her eyes because she knew she'd keep this card forever, just like Marion had kept hers. just like her daughter or granddaughter or great-granddaughter would someday keep cards made by their children. The unbroken chain of imperfect love passed down through generations.
It's perfect. I love it. Thank you, baby.
And next time you're tired, we can just hang out in the loft. We don't have to do the hard stuff.
Agreed. Although the hard stuff makes for good stories. Years from now, we'll laugh about the burnt garlic bread and the spar mask that made my face red.
We'll laugh about the so-salty meatballs.
The impossibly salty meatballs. I think you might have broken a record for salt to meatball ratio.
They laughed together, and Amy felt grateful for the disasters, for the second chance at a simple day, for a daughter whose heart was so full of love it overflowed into ambitious, messy, beautiful gestures of care. Lou watched them from the doorway, remembering her own childhood attempts to do nice things for Marion that had ended in disaster, and feeling the continuity of it all, the way children learn to love by loving imperfectly, by trying and failing and being loved anyway. That afternoon, Amy went back to work, but she carried the day with her. When she felt overwhelmed by her schedule, she thought about Lyndy reading her a book in the loft. When clients demanded impossible timelines, she thought about looking at old photos and remembering what she loved about this work. When exhaustion threatened to swallow her, she thought about the lesson her 5-year-old had taught her, that special days don't require elaborate plans or perfect execution. They just require being present with people you love. That concludes today's episode of Heartland. What started as Lyndy's ambitious plan to give Amy a special day full of breakfast in bed, spa treatments, and home-cooked meals became a comedy of disasters that somehow ended up giving Amy exactly what she needed, not relaxation from pampering, but perspective from love. Every element of Lyndy's plan went wrong. The breakfast spilled, the spa mask burned Amy's face. The dinner was inedible. The garlic bread caught fire. By any objective measure, the special day was a complete failure. But Amy's wisdom helped Lyndy understand that the love behind the effort was the real gift, that trying matters more than succeeding, that imperfect gestures given with genuine care are more precious than perfect ones given with obligation. The turning point came when Amy shared Marion's box of imperfect childhood gifts, the misspelled cards, the broken bracelets, the failed projects, all kept and treasured not for their quality, but for the love they represented. That story gave Lyndy permission to be imperfect, to fail, to mess up while still being loved and appreciated. The second version of the special day simple sandwiches, photo albums, hairbrushing, conversations on the porch was everything the first attempt wasn't. Not elaborate or ambitious, just genuine connection between mother and daughter. And that simplicity was exactly what Amy's tired soul needed. Love is shown through effort, not perfection. Lyndy worked for hours planning and executing her surprise. Everything went wrong, but the effort itself was the gift. Amy recognized and honored that effort even when the results were disasters. When someone tries hard to show you they care, receive the love behind the attempt, not the quality of the outcome. The best gifts come from the heart, not from skill. A perfect store-bought gift given without thought means less than a terrible homemade gift given with love. Lyndy's salty meatballs and burnt bread came from her heart's desire to care for her tired mother. That origin made them precious despite being inedible. Imperfect gestures given with love are more valuable than perfect ones given with obligation. This is the core truth Marion understood when she kept Amy's childhood disasters in a box. This is what Amy understood when she treasured Lyndy's chaotic day. Perfection with indifference is worthless. Imperfection with love is priceless. Time together matters more than elaborate plans. The second version of Lyndy's special day, simple, unstructured, just hanging out, ended up being more meaningful than all the elaborate plans. Being present and engaged matters more than doing expensive or complicated activities. The simplest moments often become the most precious memories. Years from now, Amy and Lyndy will remember looking at photos in the loft, reading books together, watching the sunset from the porch. The simple moments, not the elaborate plans, become the memories we treasure. Thank you for joining us for this warm, gentle episode about the beautiful disasters that happen when children try to show love in ways their skills don't quite support yet. Lyndy's special day for Amy was a comedy of errors that became something more meaningful, a lesson about what makes days and moments truly special. If you're a parent who's received terrible handmade gifts, burnt food, or chaotic surprises from your children, please treasure them. Keep them. Put them in a box like Marion did. Because those imperfect gestures are evidence of love in its purest form, love that tries without knowing how, that cares enough to risk failure, that gives without expecting perfection in return. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and tell us in the comments what's the most disastrous but heartfelt gift you've ever received or given. What did it teach you about love? We'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, this is Western Flavors.